There's a saying, what goes around comes around, and what comes around goes around. Keep watching this episode of Point of Order, because we're going to examine that saying in the context of bending and possibly rewriting rules of procedure in order to benefit those who are in temporary positions of power. All right, let's dive in. All right, welcome back to Point of Order, where we look at questions or arguments around parliamentary procedure, meeting procedures. In this episode, we're going to be looking at an article that appeared in the New York Times on December 2nd of 2004, titled, "How Do You Like That Filibuster Now?" Here's a copy of it here. And I will try to provide a link down in the description box directly to this article. It's written by a opinion writer and host of the podcast Matter of Opinion named Michelle Cottle. I hope I got that name right. In this article, she talks about the national political scene in the United States at this time. But what I want to pull out is an assertion made by Senator Joe Manchin, conservative West Virginia Democrat turned independent. And to quote a line from the article, he has a question for his former Democrat teammates. How do you like that filibuster now? In this article, Manchin emphasizes the importance of maintaining procedural rules like the filibuster and cautions against bending or eliminating these mechanisms for political or partisan gain. He warns that political power is cyclical and says what goes around comes around, and what comes around goes around. And I want to take that phrase as the point of order today to examine what goes around comes around, and how does it apply to your assemblies and to your meetings. So that is the point of order at question. And while I am certain nobody watching this video is a United States senator, this is an assertion that can be applied to our assemblies, whether we're talking about a local organization, a local government, a society, or any sort of deliberative body. What goes around comes around, and what comes around goes around. Oftentimes, and especially in recent years, when one party or another gains political power, talk starts getting centered around the idea of making government more efficient and curtailing some of the rules of debate and procedure in order for that new party in power to be able to push their agenda through more quickly and more effectively. And while this sounds like a good idea, there may be some traps. When it comes to deliberative assemblies, streamlining decision-making by its very nature means taking away some of the rights of the individual members to contribute, to express their opinions, to provide arguments for and against certain proposals. In our own organizations, if a group within the group or a faction gains enough power, they might be able to alter the rules of procedure to favor them, but it will be at the expense of those who are not in power. And so, by its very nature, we're talking about curtailing debate and silencing some members. In the world of government, this is often expressed as a way for the party in power to execute on their mandate. And this is something that you hear in organizations as well. People being frustrated with how long it takes for decisions to be made. But you don't often hear that same frustration from those in the minority. If we look to national politics in Canada, in the United States, and across the world, there are numerous examples of this public conversation about streamlining debate in order to effectively execute on government mandates. The argument that Senator Joe mentioned is making here is that institutional norms matter. In any assembly, when political power shifts, there will be pressure to alter the norms and change the rules to further consolidate power. But this is temporary. The long-term health of the institution should be prioritized over short-term political gain. The argument is this, that those factions who hold power in the moment should actively try to work with opposing sides rather than take unilateral action. And think about it. Not only will you have better decisions, but they will be stronger. The weaknesses of the arguments on all sides can be identified early. Decisions can be defensible, and ideally, you will foster ownership all around your assembly. These are lessons that we can take and we can apply to our own assemblies by watching what is going on in deliberative assemblies on a national or state, provincial scale. So time for the ruling on the argument, what goes around comes around. And I think it's pretty clear that this argument, this point, is well taken. I'm going to now read a quote from the book Parliamentary Law by Henry Robert, author of Robert's Rules of Order, that speaks directly to this point of order. So, the great lesson for democracies to learn is for the majority to give to the minority a full, free opportunity to present their side of the case, and then for the minority, having failed to win a majority to their views, gracefully submit and to recognize the action as that of the entire organization, and cheerfully to assist in carrying it out until they can secure its repeal. So do this instead. And I know this is hard and may sound unrealistic, but strive for balance. Try to balance efficiency with the minority rights within your assembly. Leverage the power of committees. Seek out divergent viewpoints. Look for opposing views. Have strong, healthy, robust debate and discussion. And if you're part of the faction that is in power today, ensure that the rules that you have are strong guardrails against your own overreach. Because if not, why would the next group do the same? All right, meeting adjourned for this episode of Point of Order. If you have questions or comments, please drop them below. If you're looking for short form breakdowns of motions and procedural issues, check out Order of Business. For long form content around historic developments in parliamentary procedure and deep dives into specific motions, Parliamentary Inquiry is where you want to go. And the series, The Monthly Grind, is there to give you ideas and insight into how to make your meetings more effective. For now, why don't you check out one of these two videos here and here, and I will see you next time.